The author of this book is Jessica Bennett, and as you read in the bio on page 2 of the handout, she's a columnist for the New York Times, but perhaps more importantly, she was involved in Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In organization, and of course that book has become one of the top bestsellers over the last several years for women. I put a summary of the book that comes from her website into the handout, and if you all will look at page 3, I reproduced the inside cover for you. And y'all, some of these words, obviously, we cannot say here at the book synopsis, but it is that flavor of the book that you see about how energetic that she is, about sexist behavior in the workplace, and feminism and so forth. And this is a very powerful book. And at the end of this book, she actually talks about how to get a feminist fight club started, and the steps you go through, and what the meetings are like, and so forth. So in a very different way, not only is this book descriptive, but it's actually a manual for what you do to make one of these clubs run. So let's go to the first section then, called Prepare for Battle. And this is the quote on the outline that you see. Recognizing sexism is harder than it once was. Like the microaggressions that people of color endure daily, racism marked as subtle insults or dismissals. Today, sexism is insidious, casual, politically correct, even friendly. It's a kind of can't put your finger on, not particularly overt, hard to quantify, harder even to call out behavior that maybe isn't necessarily intentional or conscious. Sometimes women exhibit it too. None of that makes it any less damaging. And she gives these statistics of how many times women are interrupted in meetings versus men by both men and women at twice the rate of men. And she's other examples of what you see in the workplace that still indicate that there is a lot of room to grow. This is what she says in the book. This is not on your handout. In an ideal scenario, we'd have policies in place to ensure that our workplaces are equal, and hopefully we'll get there. But most of us still have to roll out of bed each morning feeling relatively powerless and face the mundane, boring, subtle BS, I can't say the word, that confronts us on a daily basis. Diversity trainings don't solve for being the default coffee girl. Our legal system isn't equipped to solve for the fact that strong women will be perceived as pushy, or the fact that Americans still prefer male bosses. So what she says, back to your handout, we need weapons of our own and an arsenal of them. We must be armed with data to prove the problem exists and tactics to chip away at it from the outside and the inside. We need skills, hacks, tricks, tools, battle tactics to fight for ourselves while also advocating for change within the system. And so, as I said, this book is also practical. It has steps about how to form a fight club, what you do at the fight club. It is as much as the subtitle is an office survival manual. So it has a lot of practical things to it. Just to conclude for a second here, I really don't know what I think about this when I finish it. I do think that obviously enough women have bought this book where it is on a bestseller list. I don't know if it's out of curiosity or out of implementation. I really have no idea, but enough people have bought the book where it's been on the list. My feeling is, and I feel, okay, anyway, okay, I think, okay, I do think that women, a number of women would think this is old-fashioned, that we're past all of this, and other people who are not past it would probably relish this type of book. I have no idea how people feel about it, but again, enough people have bought it where it is on the bestseller list. Hope y'all enjoyed that synopsis of Feminist Fight Club.